Hi, this is Andrew Moore-Crispin for Gadget TV on Butterscotch.com, and today we're taking a look at the Motorola XT860 4G, also known as the Droid 3. You can get this guy for as little as $100 if you're willing to sign a long-term contract, a 3-year contract, or it's $550 if you're not willing to sign said contract. So what we have is a dual-core smartphone, 1 gigahertz, with 512 megs of RAM. What's interesting here, a 4-inch display, which is QHD, 540 by 960 pixels. The concept there is if you were to take 1/4 of your HD TV and slap it into a cell phone, you'd have something the approximate equivalent of this. We have expandable memory up to 32 gigs. We also have 16 gigs of internal memory. On the back of the device, we have an 8 megapixel camera with flash. This is capable of recording full 1080p HD video at 30 frames per second. We're running Android 2.3 Gingerbread with a slightly toned down Motorola Moto Blur interface. So if you've never been a fan of, well, Android skins in general, most specifically though Moto Blur, I never liked that one at all. It slowed down the phone and just didn't really work too well. But they seem to have toned it down quite a lot now. Doesn't really add a great deal to the experience, but it does, well, it doesn't get in the way. Interesting to note on the side here, this is a fairly unique feature to Motorola. They have the HDMI out port, and it includes a mini HDMI cable, which is always a nice touch, and the micro B USB port is right beside that. If that looks familiar to anyone who's used the Atrix 4G, well, that's probably why. You can actually connect this to the lap dock or to the HD dock that you can connect to your television. So that's a newer feature in Motorola phones, and basically all of their high-end smartphones will adhere to that. They'll keep the HDMI and the USB ports over to the side here so you can plug it into the lap dock. But the real kicker here is the slide-out QWERTY keyboard. So you can see we have a full 4-line QWERTY keyboard here, but very interesting is the fact that there's the addition of a number row here. Not terribly useful. You know, when you're dialing a phone number, you're going to be on-screen dialing anyway. But you know, it's an interesting little feature. The keyboard does work quite well. The tactility of it is not bad at all. If you're used to the kind of the BlackBerry style, it does feel a little bit more like a messaging style keyboard, given that it's a slide-out landscape keyboard. But it does work quite well, and at the end of the day, it's better than using the on-screen keyboard on Android, especially if you're, like I said, a dedicated QWERTY keyboard user. Now, in the QWERTY keyboard, we also have the directional pad here, which you can use in gaming. Much better experience than trying to use the on-screen controls on popular games out there. And we also have hardware acceleration for 3D gaming. Like I say in the show notes on Butterscotch.com, the 512 megs of RAM is, you know, especially with a dual-core 1 gigahertz processor on board, pushing a 4-inch QHD display, the RAM really does seem like it could be a major bottleneck. But the addition of hardware 3D graphics acceleration should alleviate that, at least in your 3D gaming. So there you have a quick look at the Motorola XT860 4G, AKA the Droid 3. For Gadget TV, I'm Andrew Moore-Crispin. For more sweet stuff, visit Butterscotch.com.